Hey everybody, this is Steve Miller, better known as Kelly's dad and marketing gunslinger. Thanks for joining me again for one of my, or if you're a first timer, thanks for joining me for my weekly uncopyable rambling video. And this week I'm going to kind of go back to a topic that we talked about a couple of weeks ago. But first of all, I do want to say thank you very much for all your very kind comments and all the shares that I got last week when I talked about this lesson that I got. It was kind of a motivational moment for me that I got this lesson from back in at the 1984 Olympics, and of course with the Olympics going on last week, it reminded me of that, and so I wanted to share that with you. And I kind of thought, I was kind of veering off, and people might say, "Gee, Steve, you're not a motivational speaker. We don't need to hear that." So I was pleasantly surprised by the positive reaction I got from that. So thank you very much. But let's get back to that topic from a couple of weeks ago. That I had received an email from somebody who was asking questions about whether or not his company should share their pricing up front, either on their website, or at least when they're first talking to a prospect, is whether they should do that, or they should go through that kabuki dance of where they kind of wait to deliver the pricing information at the end, as if it's like bad news, so to speak. Okay, and in fact, let me replay that part of the video right now where I'm reading the section from his email. I'm reading here. He says, "We are taught at every seminar not to give your price out until you go on site, meet with the prospect, take a survey, come back to the office and calculate the price, create a proposal, get an appointment to go back, parentheses, never, ever, ever give a quote over the phone or email, parentheses, close, then sit down with the prospect, totally describe your service again, and only then present your price. In my opinion, one of several things will occur. Number one, my price will be too high. Number two, my price will be too low. Number three, my price will be about right. But finishes by saying, whatever way it works out, the prospect and my company have both spent a lot of time dating. If my price is too high, will have all been for naught." Okay, so like I said, that if people had wanted to hear my opinion about pricing, that I would talk about it. And yep, I did get some emails saying, some comments from people saying, yep, we would like to hear about that. So yep, what am I doing? So let's talk about the pricing thing, the pricing issue. First of all, I really think people know when they're being manipulated. And if you're going out there and you're kind of hiding your pricing until the end, you go out and you have a conversation with them, you gather information from them, you sort of show them a little bit about what you're going to do, and then you leave and you come back to them, whether you come back to them by telephone or email or face-to-face or something like that. And at that time, then you present here's the package, and here's the pricing for the package right here. And you've set them up for everything. So, how can they possibly say no? And I just think that people know when they're being manipulated. And ask yourself the question, do you like it when potential suppliers do that to you? And I'm guessing that the answer to that is probably no. You don't like that. So I don't think people like to be manipulated at all. And there's also the argument that, well, we don't want to put our prices, say, on our website or tell people up front, because then our competition will know what our pricing is. Well, guess what? Your competition knows what your pricing is, and if they don't know what your pricing is, then they're idiots anyway. So they know that deal. So I think that there are reasons why pricing, sharing your prices early in the conversation is a good idea. Okay, and so let me give you a couple of those. I mean, I think I have 4 different reasons why I like to do that. And the number one reason of all is that I love to write the rules of competition. See, if I am doing what everybody else says for me to do, and I am following, and if say the industry standard is, hide your prices until you absolutely have to give it to them. Well, if that's the industry standard, I have no interest in following the industry standard. So I am going to go the complete opposite, and I'm going to go out and I am going to share my pricing because I want to write the rules of competition. And as long as I've got people who are following me, then as long as my competition is following me, then that's what I'm going to do. So like for example, recently, I did a marketing ROI webinar where I was teaching companies how to measure any marketing tool, how to be able to prove your ROI from any single marketing tool you ever want to do it. I can't even tell you how many of my competitors signed up for that, or people who think they're my competitors, but and they all wanted that information. Well, you know what? Guess what, gang? I'm controlling you. So thanks for signing up for that. It also, number two is that it weeds out the tire kickers. Now, if you are trying to be the low-priced supplier in an industry, well, good on you, mate, because if you live by prices, you're going to die by prices, because eventually somebody else is going to come up with a better price, and then you're just going to keep on cutting and slashing your margins, and if that's what you're competing on, well, then good luck to you. See, I think it's kind of silly to try to compete on prices. I think that, in fact, I really, really encourage my clients to do whatever they can to push themselves to the high end of the price range, because there's always a market there. There's always a market for high end quality products, quality services that people are willing to pay for. Because you got to remember, it's not the price, it's the value, right? We all know that where value is clear, the decision is easy. That's the motto that you should be following. So I want to get rid of the tire kickers, because if I quote them a price and they go, wow, that's way more than I wanted to spend. Well, then I always say to them, well, you know what? I'm happy to give you some names of some cheap consultants or cheap speakers. I'm happy to do that, but I'm not one of them. So, and then I'm able to end that conversation and move on to the next one. The third one is the third one. Let me get that up there instead of the third one. Is transparency. Is that because transparency equals trust. When you are manipulating people, when you are obviously hiding something like your prices until as late as possible, that is not a trustworthy move. People know that that's what you're doing, and so to me, I want to establish trust as quickly as possible, and the only way to establish trust is to be trustworthy. So I'm going to be as transparent as I possibly can from the get-go. Now, I will make a comment about that, because as far as possibly you do custom work, like for example, for me, when I'm speaking, my speeches are all custom. Basically, they're every single one of them. I don't have a canned presentation. But that said, if you are doing custom work or there's custom packages that you are putting together for people, things like that, there is typically a minimum level that you would start with, right? So I will, if somebody's asking me, and people want to know kind of what kind of ballpark they're looking at. And if you start with a minimum level and you say, well, typically I can tell you that the minimum level of this product range or this type of work that we do is X number of dollars, and and then the question is just simply, does that fit within your budget? And if the answer is, well, no, it doesn't, well, then the conversation's over, and you never would have gotten the deal anyway, unless you are so afraid of the competition getting the work that you are willing to just cut your margins. See, and don't do that. Don't do that. So for me, the idea that when I want to control the competition as much as I possibly can, that's really the big thing there. I want to be as trustworthy as I possibly can be, and that's a big thing there. I want to get rid. I want to get people through the qualifying process. And one of the criteria in a qualifying process is, are they willing and able to spend the money? Do they have the money? Are they willing and able to spend it? If you can convince them that you are the best product or service for them. So that is my opinion about pricing, and I hope that helped some of you. And some of you are probably going, I totally disagree with you, Steve, and that's okay. You know what? That's okay. Remember what I said 2 weeks ago. There are many roads to the top of the mountain. This is just Steve's opinion. It works for me, works for a lot of my clients. Thanks for joining me. If you like this, please share it. I'm begging you, please share it. Please share it. Send it out to everybody that you know on the planet, and I will greatly appreciate that. And if you want me to give you a shout out for sharing, then send me a note saying, hey, I shared. My name is Fred Fartledarkus, and I want you to say my name. Kind of like they do on those telethons for charities and stuff like that. So anyway, thanks for joining me again this week. This is Steve Miller, better known as Kelly's dad and marketing gunslinger. And always remember, be uncopyable.